There has been plenty of content for you guys this week on the channel. I don't want to hear any of you say, "Oh, but JD, where are the videos, man?" There's plenty of videos for you guys to go back and watch when you're done with this NXT review. Now, what we did today is we talked about day 2 of the UK Championship Series. Night 1 was the tournament. Night 2, we seen NXT take over Royal Albert Hall. And if you guys love NXT, you guys should go get my thoughts on that. Whereas when we talked about SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw, they were both miserable fucking shows. And then obviously you got Toni Storm. My future wife stood tall at Royal Albert Hall on night 1. I kid, but it was great. Go check them out and go get my thoughts on everything that you might have missed this week. Everything will be linked in the annotation in the top right corner of the screen. Now, with NXT, when we ask for something, they usually deliver it. This isn't a SmackDown Live situation where we ask for something or we say something. It's the one thing we don't want, and then we get it anyway. Kane. At least on tonight's show, we finally got what I have been hoping for all of these weeks. It is now being laid down by William Regal. Johnny Gargano has to move on from TOMMASO CIAMPA. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I agree 100%. Johnny Gargano doesn't want to move on from TOMMASO CIAMPA. He says this will be over. This will end when Ciampa ends. Very prophetic words by Johnny Gargano. Very mysterious. What does he mean by that? Is he going to end TOMMASO CIAMPA? How is he going to do so? William Regal is forcing Johnny Gargano to move on. They're actually putting him in a match with EC3 next week, which, wow, makes sense. Johnny Gargano interrupted an EC3 match and disrespected EC3 with the announcement that he had signed his contract prior to NXT TakeOver Chicago. Got on the microphone during EC3's match. Wow, things make sense and things line up. They actually realize that these things happened weeks ago and they're trying to fill in the holes here for the story. It's not like it happened and then WWE forgets that it ever happened. I like that, man. Attention to detail. But NXT started off in the one way that I had been preaching about. I'm not the only one who said this. I'm not the only one who has wanted this. I'm not taking credit for coming up with this. I mean, it's pretty basic. It's pretty simple about where they were going. I was just hoping that they did what was the most logical of choices, because there are certain factors here that are going to dictate what happens. Now, we all knew Aleister Black was being second fiddle, or he was playing second fiddle to the feud of Gargano and Ciampa. The NXT Championship really wasn't spotlighted the way that it normally is. It wasn't being treated as a main event level title. They put the blood feud of Gargano and Ciampa above the NXT Championship. Lars Sullivan, they used him as a trial run, a test run per se, to just get the title on TakeOver and give Aleister Black a larger, somewhat meaningful opponent at TakeOver Chicago. How do we rectify this? How do we rectify the NXT Championship situation, but also in the same time killing two birds with one stone? How do you keep the NXT Championship as important as it should be? How do you get that in the main event and then also continue to build without actually building towards the next chapter in Gargano and Ciampa? Well, you take one portion of that feud and you put it with the NXT Championship that is currently being worn by Aleister Black, And boom, you have a solution for your issues. So you get Aleister Black feuding with the best heel in the business right now, and then you get the NXT Championship in the main event because Tommaso Ciampa has been nothing short of a main event level talent. Boom. Solution solved. We were all hoping. The entire community was all hoping that this would be the direction that they go in, because the NXT Championship would be in the main event. The hopes of Tommaso Ciampa winning the NXT Championship, how that happens, I don't know. That's the next intriguing portion of this entire situation. How does he do it? Do they let it go clean? Or does he cheat to win? So that's going to be interesting to see, but it's amazing how they are doing this. And with the possibility of Ciampa winning the championship, how exciting that makes another match with Johnny Gargano. What is Johnny Gargano going to do when Tommaso Ciampa, or if, I can't say when, because we don't know. NXT has this thing where they think we know what's coming, but then they just throw a nice fucking Greg Maddox slider. And it's not what we expected it to be. But what would Johnny Gargano think if Tommaso Ciampa was the NXT champion? That I would pay money for by itself. Because we all know that Ciampa took that title opportunity away from Gargano by putting him through a table by dropping him off the stage. It's going to be a very, very interesting summer, to say the least, in NXT, man. And they did it. They started the show off with exactly what I wanted them to, and I have the promo for you guys, which I'm going to play right now because it's absolutely fucking fantastic. I smiled from ear to ear. One of the very few things within the last 2 weeks that have made me genuinely smile. This is it. This is it. Tommaso Ciampa is coming for the NXT Championship. He's coming for Aleister Black, and he's threatening to put an end. Pretty much, he will make Aleister Black's title reign fade to black. Listen to the master, the psycho killer, speak to Aleister Black.
Adversity and how you deal with adversity is what defines you as a champion. Now, the name of adversity at NXT TakeOver Chicago was Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan did something that I did not think was humanly possible. He truly is a freak of nature. But then faced with that adversity, I made it fade to black.
You stood face to face with adversity. Now, it's time you stand face to face with the devil. Title doesn't make the man makes the title. But in your case, I beg to differ. In your case, I feel like the title does indeed make Aleister Black. Look no further than TakeOver Chicago. You barely got by Lars Sullivan. And on that same night, in the main event,
See the way he said that? In the main event.
Johnny freaking Wrestling.
In the main event, Aleister.
Now that the Gargano fairy tale is behind me, all the personal crap goes away, and I focus on business. I focus on that shiny little title of yours, because Aleister Black, you have something that I want.
Wow, you really, really like the sound of your own voice, don't you? Well, if Mr. Regal decides to make this match happen, then you will realize that just like everyone else before you, I will kick your life.
Aleister! Boy, you be careful what you say.
Boy.
All I need is one opportunity. One title match.
And then he sits down, Indian style, like Aleister Black on the stage.
Your title reign will fade to Black.
Man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this match, dude. I cannot wait for that match. If it is indeed signed for Brooklyn, I cannot wait, man. This is brilliant. Just to have him take the title off of Aleister Black. But how? How do you do it? That's the next thing that we have to concern ourselves with, man. Does Johnny get involved? Does Johnny's anger now allow him to lose the street fight? Does that carry over into Brooklyn because he's so obsessed with ending Tommaso Ciampa? Does that carry over into Brooklyn? Does Johnny inadvertently cost Aleister Black the title? And does he give the win and the championship to Tommaso Ciampa because his emotions let the best, or his emotions were getting the best of him? That's something we have to watch out for, man. I can't fucking wait to see this story unfold, man. This is the perfect fucking chapter that is currently being written, man. We don't know where it's going, but all eyes are on Ciampa. Look at his social media, man. His Twitter handle now, his profile picture on Twitter is a picture of the NXT Championship. He just tweeted out again about Aleister Black. This, more than likely, is taking place. We don't know when. We don't know how. But keep an eye on it. It's going to be fucking fantastic, man. And I would not even hesitate at this point to put the fucking title on Tommaso Ciampa. The body of work that the guy has done with Gargano, the character that he has portrayed has been absolutely nothing short of brilliant. And Aleister Black, I've said it for fucking months now, does not need the NXT Championship. The guy's ready for whatever brand you want to put him on. I feel like he's just there to get the title to Ciampa. Simple as that. He never needed the championship. In fact, I'll say it again because I feel like a fucking broken record. I don't think Almas needed to be brought to SmackDown Live. We should have been getting Almas in the middle of this fucking thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I am very, very excited for what happens to the NXT Championship situation. Now, apparently Lars Sullivan has a broken jaw. They showed you an x-ray of Lars Sullivan's jaw and a clear break in his jaw that he wrestled at TakeOver Chicago against Aleister Black, half the match with a broken jaw. If that is really the case, the guy is a fucking beast. So, I'm guessing that's where the blood came from. I'm assuming it's a real deal. I don't know how long he's going to be out. All I know is that when Dash Wilder broke his jaw, he was out for 2 months. So, we might not even see Lars Sullivan heading into Brooklyn. So, he may be going bye-bye for just a little bit. But kudos to him, man. What a fucking monster he is, if that is indeed the case. Vanessa Bourne, I love her hair, by the way. I got a thing for curly hair. Vanessa Bourne cut an interview outside of the Performance Center where she was asking reporters why Kairi Sane dresses like a pirate. I was asking questions last night on SmackDown Live. Why is Kane in the main event? Why is Kane on television in 2018? Meanwhile, we have Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Shelton Benjamin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton, Andrade Cien Almas. Guys like that. Charlotte. Not being used on SmackDown Live. Some of them are out with injury, but the amount of talent that's not being used on SmackDown Live is sickening. These are the things I'm asking, Miss Bourne. You're asking why Kairi Sane is dressing like a fucking pirate. Now, I don't know. Maybe she loves fucking skulls and crossbones, whatever the fuck the case may be. Maybe she likes pirate ships. I love pirate ships. Fun fact about me, when I was little, my favorite Legos were the pirate Legos. I was all over the pirate Legos, man. Meanwhile, my brother was into the town, the regular ordinary town folk Legos. You know, the hospitals and the fire trucks and the police stations. No, man, I wanted to be on a fucking deserted island looking for buried pirate treasure, motherfucker. Maybe Kairi Sane likes everything to do with pirates, man. Maybe she lives that pirate lifestyle. I don't know, Miss Bourne. She thinks that is stupid. Bourne says she's a vision, and she is certainly a vision. Certainly a vision, but she's going to take Sane to the ring and make sure she doesn't walk out. She'll be the one on the posters instead of Kairi saying no Shayna Baszler on this night. Miss Baszler had the night off this week. We did not see anything from Nikki Cross. We didn't see Kairi Sane on this show. But we did get Lacey Evans, who's been featured quite recently. She was in action against Candice LeRae. That was coming up as far as the women go on NXT. Many people asked me this week where Kona Reeves was. Lo and behold, you guys got your wish. Kona Reeves is back on NXT. Whether you like that or not, I don't know. I mean, I don't really see anything special in Kona Reeves so far. But the one thing I did notice about Kona Reeves is that he kind of tightened up a little bit as far as his physique. He looks a little more leaner. He looks a little bit more fit. So, Mauro Ranallo was saying that he was training with the legendary Don Morocco. If that's the case, so be it. But he does look a little bit leaner and slimmer. That really isn't going to play into his entire arsenal here, but I don't find him to be remotely entertaining, at least right now. I'm not going to dump and shit all over this guy, but Kona Reeves doesn't have a lot of time. He doesn't have a lot of time to get me on board with him. We've seen him enough already to kind of give ourselves an interpretation of where we're going with Kona Reeves. Right now, he ain't sitting good with me. So I don't know what's going on. You know, maybe when they put him in a major program, maybe I'll sing a different tune. But as of right now, he went against another local enhancement talent, Max Humberto, who got the crowd to chant his name, Max Humberto, before the bell rang. Kona Reeves got more chains than fucking wrestling moves around his neck, more rings on his fingers than he does wrestling moves in the ring. And really, this one was a glorified squash. This one ended with a Hawaiian drop for the win. Very sloppy looking. He's got that back elbow off the second turnbuckle, a la Ted DiBiase. And that was pretty much it. He started screaming, "I am the finest. I am the finest." No, you're not the finest yet. You know when you're going to be the finest? When I say so. And right now, you ain't anywhere near being the finest. I wonder if that jewelry around his neck is even real at this point. We'll see what happens. Kona Reeves wins, and he squashes Max Humberto. Mustache Mountain, they won the NXT Tag Team Championships. We'll talk about them. They played a factor in the main event on this show. Candice LeRae versus Lacey Evans. This one was pretty decent, man. They gave the women a decent amount of time here on NXT this week. Evans was working on the arm. She was working on Candice LeRae's left arm, which left her right arm completely mobile, which played a factor into the ending of this match. Lacey Evans is getting better. I have said this for a couple weeks now. She has gotten a lot better from when we seen her in the Mae Young Classic. They did some tweaking to her gimmick. She is not as overbearing with it. She still has that burlesque dancer feel to herself and to her gimmick, but it's not as in your face. She is a beautiful woman. She does prance around like she's a fucking model, like she's about to pose for a fucking magazine. But don't let that take anything away from what she does in the ring. You know, the gimmick may be one thing, but she has definitely gotten better in the ring. And we see this week in and week out. She did it with Kairi Sane. She did it here with Lacey Evans, man. She's learning some nice techniques in the ring. She's learning some grappling holds, some submission holds. We know what she can do. She's very athletic, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Lacey Evans. It's just, to me, the gimmick really hasn't clicked with the audience yet. They're not completely on board. They're kind of in between. They want to be on board. They want to boo her, but at the end of the day, it's Lacey Evans, and it's going to be one of those, going to be one of those, you know, it really doesn't do anything for me type, you know, moments. She's great, but it hasn't reached that point yet to where I'm going to fully invest myself in her character. I'm more interested in Candice LeRae because she has association with Johnny Gargano. But Candice fought back here, hit a rolling neck snap, very Mr. Perfect-esque. And LeRae couldn't capitalize on that because she was selling the arm because Lacey Evans was working on the arm the entire match. Candice fought back with her right arm, slapping the shit out of Lacey Evans with her right arm since the left one was pretty much done for. It was busted. She beat Lacey into the corner with all right hands, landed a move off the middle turnbuckle, and drove Lacey's face into the mat. It was kind of like a flatliner off the second turnbuckle. Candice hit a vertebreaker and then a beautiful moonsault off the second rope, man. The height that Candice LeRae got on that lion salt was fucking beautiful, man. Unbelievable. That actually did Lacey Evans in, and Candice LeRae won with that moonsault off the second rope. Candice LeRae gaining some momentum in the women's division here on NXT. She said, you know, whatever's going on with her husband, yes, it's in the back of her mind, but she has to focus on herself at some point, and her focus will be becoming the NXT Women's Champion. So she did mention that. So could we see Candice LeRae versus Shayna Baszler for the Women's Championship instead of what I proposed in Kairi Sane? So we'll see what happens with that going into Brooklyn. Johnny Gargano cut a promo backstage saying that Candice LeRae is my favorite wrestler. He said it's far from over with TOMMASO CIAMPA. He's going to talk to William Regal and make sure that they do this one more time. He doesn't care if it's tomorrow, next week, in Brooklyn, at the grocery store. And if he's at the grocery store, please, I need some milk. Please, Johnny, I got a box of cereal and I forgot to buy fucking milk for my organic blueberry cereal, which I really did. And it sucks. I hate eating dry blueberry cereal, blueberry flakes, without any fucking milk. The only cereal that I'll eat without milk is Frosted Mini Wheats. That's one of my guilty pleasures, man. I like to snack on Frosted Mini Wheats. I don't know why I'm telling you that. Frosted Mini Wheats in the middle of the night, man. Just eat that shit, a bowl of that shit without any milk, man. Just fucking with my hands. Boom. Nice snack during a show like NXT. He doesn't care if it's in the streets, Brooklyn grocery store, because when he gets his hands on Ciampa, he will end him. So I don't know what's happening with that, man. We got to see. But William Regal is putting his foot down. Got to move on from TOMMASO CIAMPA. He's putting in a match with EC3 next week. Heavy Machinery cut a promo on the Mighty, and they are not playing games anymore, all the while barbecuing in the hot, humid weather of Orlando, Florida. It looks like they had some potatoes and some peppers and some sausage, you know. So, steaks and weights here by Heavy Machinery. No more games. They want the Mighty, and they're going to make the Mighty pay because they hate cheaters. Candice LeRae was interviewed backstage, like I said. She said she is worried about Johnny, but it's time for her to focus somewhat on her own goal, and nothing is going to stop her from going for the NXT Women's Championship. This was probably the most entertaining portion of the show, and I'm not even talking about the main event, man. Mustache Mountain comes out, and they are in the next match coming up. They were going to have a standard tag team match against these two guys, Dave Nixon and Carl Axelrod. Sounds like the newest stars for Sasha Grey's new fucking porno movie. You know? Anyway, these guys came out. Mustache Mountain comes out, right? They do their thing. And they're in the ring. People going crazy. People chanting Mustache Mountain. Dave Nixon and Carl Axelrod come out. They're all fucking dancing and they're jumping around on stage. I swear to God, man, I couldn't stop laughing. The Undisputed Era comes out. All you see is Roderick Strong fly from the back area into one of these guys. He did a jumping knee. All you see is Roderick Strong come out from the back, do a flying fucking knee as if he's fucking Sagat in Street Fighter. Does a flying jumping knee, gives this guy one of the most brutal end of heartaches I have ever fucking seen. Adam Cole super kicks this motherfucker. Both of these guys get dumped off the stage. This was the best beatdown on a stage since Ciampa and Gargano. This was brilliant. I loved it. These guys didn't even know what the fuck was coming. Two unsuspecting clowns. Done for. Undisputed Era, man, took them out and they beat the shit out of these two guys. So, Kyle O'Reilly gets on the microphone and says that their win, Mustache Mountain, in front of Royal Albert Hall was a fluke. And the only reason why you won is because of the fans at Royal Albert Hall. And that's exactly what I said on my review today for day 2, where they lost the tag team championships. Just think of it. You know, a lot of people are asking, why did they lose the titles? Undisputed Era is probably the best tag team in all of WWE right now. Why take the titles off of two guys who should have never lost them, who are the very best in their division? Think of it as a sports team, as a hot sports team going into a visitor's ballpark. They got beat because of the home field for their opponents, and they made mistakes because of the loud crowd who were clearly behind the team of Mustache Mountain. Just think of it that way. You know, it was a heartfelt moment. I don't mind a tag team title switch as long as it goes back to the Undisputed Era, which we'll see as we get on through this particular set of tapings. But it was a fluke. They're phonies. Adam Cole says they're going to make Mustache Mountain board a plane back to the UK, back to their fucking fans in the UK, but they won't be with their newly won hardware. They're going to send them back on a plane empty-handed. Undisputed Era, I thought we were going to get the match tonight. And the tag team titles were going to be on the line. Undisputed Era circles the ring, all three of them. So it's a 3-on-2 situation. Ricochet comes out of nowhere, runs to the ring like a fucking rocket, gets into the ring, slides underneath the ropes, does that little pretty backflip that he does, stares down Adam Cole. He only looked at Adam Cole. Could Adam Cole's next opponent in a defense of the North American Championship be Ricochet? If you guys remember what I said, Tommaso Ciampa beating Aleister Black. Tommaso Ciampa dropping the title to Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano is going to need another opponent just as good as Tommaso Ciampa to defend that title. Adam Cole could be that man. Adam Cole's not going to be North American Champion forever. Adam Cole is going to be NXT World Champion. Believe me. Whether it happens before the end of the year or before WrestleMania next year, he will be. So I think that is where they could possibly be headed. And we could be possibly headed towards Ricochet versus Adam Cole at Brooklyn for the North American Championship. How fucking crazy would that be? So, just a little teaser of what might come in the next 2 months, man. If there's anything that you guys need to go back and watch this week, the UK Championship special on the WWE Network is definitely one of them. Watch my review of that. If there's another thing that you guys have to go back and watch, it's this six-man tag. Normally, I shit on six-man tags. We don't see them a lot in NXT. But there's an ongoing issue with Undisputed Era and British Strong Style. So having all six of these guys, minus Pete Dunne in this situation, is actually building towards storyline. So I don't mind it. And when you get action like this, the six-man tags on Monday Night Raw are this good. You need to go back and watch this six-man tag, man. This shit was all over the fucking place. You see how good of a group Undisputed Era is when they work in tandem. Ricochet and Mustache Mountain, they gelled brilliantly together. And the instances where we've seen Cole and Ricochet, and the instances where we've seen Ricochet in this particular match make babyface comebacks, man, there's no way you can watch Ricochet in this match and tell me that this guy's not going to be a fucking stud in WWE. This guy has the makings of everything that Vince McMahon could ever want in somebody. He's not perfect. He's rough around the edges when he's talking and speaking in a promo. Who gives a shit? The crowd was fucking so into what this guy was doing and the comebacks that he mounted in this match. There's no reason why WWE's not going to let this guy run with it when the time is right. Unfucking believable, man. This was some great, great shit. Towards the end of this thing, Cole and Ricochet trade kicks. I think Cole does a super kick. Ricochet comes back with a stand-up enziguri. And they go at it, which is great. And they left everyone laying on the mat. Ricochet and Cole fight it in the ring. They are the legal men, while everybody else who fought outside. It was great to see just Ricochet and Cole in the ring. And then you got, I don't know who it was. I can't think of it at the moment. But you got Seven and O'Reilly. And then you got Bate and Strong on both sides of the aprons. And then you got Cole and Ricochet in the middle. It looked like fucking tag team warfare going on in the main event of NXT. So Ricochet and Cole are fighting. They're the legal guys. Ricochet downs Adam Cole. He goes up top for a 630, lands it beautifully. I thought that was it. O'Reilly pulls Adam Cole from underneath the ropes to break up the count. We got Roderick Strong doing a end of heartache on fucking Trent Seven on the apron. That takes him out. Ricochet landed a dive on Kyle. Strong grabbed Ricochet. No, I'm sorry. I said Seven. He did it to Ricochet. He did the end of heartache on the apron to Ricochet. Sends his back into the apron. He rolled Ricochet into the ring. Adam Cole doesn't even do last shot. He just makes the quick cover, and that was it. It was over. We got Undisputed Era winning in a fantastic fucking six-man tag. Unbelievable to close NXT. They actually ended the show about 12 minutes early. So NXT, though, got a lot of good substance there. A lot of great shit to look forward to next week. A lot of great shit to look forward to going into Brooklyn. Going to be very exciting for NXT, man. I can't fucking wait. There is a report about NXT possibly being added to the Fox lineup for SmackDown Live when SmackDown Live moves to Fox next October in 2019. They're talking about adding more WWE content to Fox Sports, whether that's Fox or FS1. Some of you wanted my thoughts on it. I'll dive into a little bit deeper on Off the Script. I'll read you the full story and what is being reported right now. There are discussions, but if I am to make a decision on putting NXT, I would love to see NXT in front of a larger audience because it is criminal how there are not as many people watching NXT compared to the main roster. This is where the action is. This is where the winds of change in the business of WWE in the ring is happening. This is where WWE's direction needs to be going. Whatever they're doing in NXT needs to be showcased in front of a larger audience. Because whatever we're getting with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live is complete fucking garbage. It's embarrassing. I'm never embarrassed to watch NXT. This is where it needs to be. The winds of change are changing. Triple H is changing the company as far as an in-ring aspect. And Vince McMahon and his fucking cronies, his goons, aren't listening. I don't know what's going on. So we'll talk about that, but I am definitely on board with NXT being on FS1. Thank you guys so much, man. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. If you missed any of the videos, please go and check them out. Show some support, and I will see you guys tomorrow with probably a little bit of extra off the script for you as we tackle some of the minor stories heading into episode 228 on Friday. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so much. Great edition of NXT. Can't wait for next week. And we'll see what happens with Ricochet, Cole, Ciampa, and Gargano, and then Ciampa and Black. So we'll see what happens with that. Thank you guys so much. Again, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you all tomorrow with more content right here on the channel. I'll talk to you later.